Alright guys, this video is going to be all about file types. So we're going to look at 4 of the main file types that you use when you're working in and then exporting from Illustrator, why you would want to use each file type, and how to export for each file type. Now this is going to be pretty introductory level, so we're going to be looking at these 4 file types that are listed here. There's a lot of other ones out there that you can use, but this will get you started, and these are the 4 most common ones you're going to be using regularly. So we have our vector files, which are going to maintain that vector quality that you have when you're creating with an Illustrator. And then we do have our raster file types, which are going to actually export as a raster file that's created with pixels. These aren't going to scale as well, but they are going to be a little bit smaller file size. So starting off with our vector files, we've got our .ai. .ai is an Adobe Illustrator file, and that's going to be your working file. When you're working with an Illustrator, you're going to want to save your files as AI files so you can go back in later and make changes, open those files back up, etc. Now, these do have a larger file size because they do contain all of the contents of your file. And one thing to be aware of when you're saving or sending this file type is that the client's going to be able to go in and see your entire file, everything that's off of your artboards and everything like that. So if you don't want them to see your entire process and or go in and accidentally make changes, for example, if you're making a logo, there's specific colors that it is, and you don't want them to accidentally go in and change that, probably not going to want to send them your working AI file. Now, our other option for vector files, and what I'm most commonly sending to my clients personally, is a .pdf. A .pdf is going to maintain that vector output. So if you are making a logo design, or you're making a t-shirt design, or some sort of other graphic that needs to be able to be scaled, this is the perfect file to send your client. Just be aware when you are exporting these, and we'll take a look at this later on, that you can have a PDF be editable, and if you have that option checked down when you save it, it will be able to open in Illustrator just like an AI file would essentially, and your client would be able to go in and make changes. Really the only difference when you save it this way is that you can open it outside of Illustrator, but if they do open it in Illustrator, it's going to open just like an AI file would. Moving on to the raster, we've got our .jpeg file, and this is going to be your standard image file that you would see when you're taking pictures with a camera, or maybe on Google Images. It's probably the most common file type. The perk with JPEGs is that it is a smaller file, and there's a lot of options when you're exporting for resolution and things like that. So if you are exporting for something maybe print-based and you need a little bit high resolution, you can do that. Or maybe you're exporting for web. Maybe you design some sort of banner for a client's website. You're going to want to export it a little bit smaller resolution so that it loads better on their site. This is a great option for, like I said, web, but also for sending your client proofs or anything for their social outlets. JPEGs will be able to be open on phones, tablets, computers, so you can send it quickly and easily over text or an email, and your clients can be able to open it up and send it out to whoever they need to. Next, we have .PNGs, and these behave very similar to JPEGs in a lot of ways, but the one big difference here, and the main purpose we'll use it for, is when you want a transparent background. So let's say you're exporting a logo for a client's website. You need a small logo for just their top header bar, or maybe you're making a video title and you want that transparent background. A .png is what you're going to be looking for here. So essentially when a PNG gets exported, anything that's blank on the Illustrator file, for example, this blank background on my artboard, would become transparent. So let's go ahead and look at how we can export some of these different file types. We'll start off with .pngs. So let's say I'm just making this video title with our logo down here for Campus Ink. I can go ahead and just turn my background off. And now that that is hidden, when I export this PNG, only the white Campus Ink is going to show, and this background will become transparent. So I can go here to File, Export, Export As, and then I can just name this whatever I want. I'll just name it Logo Title. Go down here to my options and choose PNG for the format. I'll go ahead and click Use Artboards, and this particular graphic is on Artboard 2, and I'll show you how to find out what artboard your graphics are on if you're not sure in just a minute. Then I'll just go ahead and click Export. And here I want to make sure that my background color is set to transparent. And then for resolution, since this is a video title, it's 4 screen, I'll just keep it at 72 ppi. and I'll hit OK. Now just an example of how I could use this in application. If I go here to a Premiere file, I could go ahead and open up that logo that I just exported, this PNG. And as you can see, when I drop this in here to my video, I can go ahead and move it around here so it's not on white, and you'll see that it's got no background. I can go ahead and use this title however I want in my video or in any other application where I need a transparent background. Next, let's go ahead and look at how we could export JPEGs and PDFs. So let's say I'm doing this t-shirt design for a client. So I want to send the client a JPEG so that they can check out the design, make sure they like it, and then send it out to the members of their group. So I'm going to want to send them a JPEG, so it's a nice small file for them. They can put it in their group chats, put it on social media, whatever they want to do with it. So I'm going to go ahead down here to my artboard button, artboard tool, and click on that. And this will bring up my artboard numbers here. So I'm looking at this first 2-digit number. So now I know that this is artboard 1 and artboard 4. So what I can go ahead and do is go to File, Export, Export As. And this time we'll go ahead and select a JPEG right down here. We'll click on Use Artboards, and we'll do a range of 1, 4. So that's going to export artboard 1 and artboard 4. And I'll just name this shirt and go ahead and hit export. Now I've got some options here. If I wanted to send them a really high resolution proof so they could really zoom in and really see the details of the design, I could keep this at 300. But if I just want to have it be a smaller file they can more easily send to their group to have them check out the shirt, I could put it at 72 ppi, and this will be a perfectly good resolution to see on your phones. You're just going to lose a bit of quality when you zoom in. So I'll go ahead and hit OK there. And now if I go into my files, I can go ahead and open these up, and as you can see, they're just standard JPEG images. Now let's say the client loves the design and they want to move forward in the process. So I want to get this file prepped to send to the screen printer, right? I want to send this file into Campus Ink so it can actually be printed. What I'm going to want to do is go ahead and take my background off, because that was just a sample to mimic the color of the shirt, and I don't actually want that gray square to be printed. Now what I'll go ahead and do is go up to File, and this time I'll go to Save As. And down here in my format, I have the option for Adobe PDF. Now I only want to export that first artboard because I'm just trying to send them the working artwork so that they can go ahead, size it how they need, separate out the colors, and burn the screens that they're going to use to actually print this shirt. So I'll just go ahead and go up here and just name this, and then I can go ahead and hit save. Now we're going to have some options here. The main one I really want to highlight is this checkbox right here. Preserve Illustrator editing capabilities. So this is what we talked about at the beginning of the video. If you do check this on, they're going to be able to essentially open this file up and edit it just like you'd be able to in your own Illustrator file. If you check that off, they're just going to get the flat vector artwork, which is really all they need. So I'm just going to go ahead and check that off and then hit Save PDF. I'll just hit OK for that window. And now I've got a nice PDF file of my artwork that I can go ahead and send to them. And as you'll see, if I were to zoom in on this, it is really high quality. It's vector. It's not rasterizing it. So they're going to be able to blow that up for whatever size they need to print my shirt. So that's just a quick overview of the different file types you have available to you in Adobe Illustrator. There's a ton of other ones out there, but these are the 4 you really need to know about to get started. Guys, I hope this video was helpful for you. If you've got anything that's been confusing you in Illustrator, check out the rest of our Design Academy series. We might have a video about it. If not, let us know and we'll go ahead and make one for you.